guys, welcome to a new video here in JS Education. My name is Carlos Santana and this is the video number 8 for the course developing a headless CMS with TypeScript and GraphQL. So let's start. Okay, so the first thing that we need to do in this video is going on front end to our file next.config.js, and then we are going to import path here on dependencies, and we are going to add some alias like this here. So on next config we can configure our webpack configuration. We can modify our webpack configuration. These dev indicators auto pre-render is to remove an icon that with next is rendered on the bottom right side of the page. So with this we remove that part. Then with webpack we are going to add some alias to the resolve. So we do config.resolve.alias, and then we are going to add whatever we want to convert that to alias, and then we are going to resolve that path to the specific folder. So for example, I'm going to create a folder app and then another folder pages, or these pages, for example. This is going to source/pages. Also, I'm going to create a share one, and I have one for the styles that is going to resolve on source shared styles. We're going to create those later. After we add the alias here on the next config, we need to add it as a pages on the TS config, but we're going to do that next. Also, we need to install the library fogg-ui, which is a library that I've been working for the last few months, and it's basically a way to create buttons or inputs, forms, etc. with, I will say, good styles. So we're going to use that library. Okay, so now I have the logo here, this file, for the project. So now you have to go to the project folder front end, and you need to create a new folder called public, and then inside we are going to create a new folder called images, and then here I'm going to put my logo image. You will have all these assets on the repository, so don't worry right now. After the video ends, I will push this code and the image to the repository, so you will be able to grab that. Okay, so after this, we need to create a new folder on our source that is being called app. Also, we need to create a shared folder. So inside our app, we are going to create our applications, I can say. So you need to create a new folder here called users. That is going to be one of our applications. And then inside, we are going to create components. Then our first component that we are going to create is the login. So the components are writing with capital letter at the beginning. And then inside, we're going to create some files. The first one is going to be the layout.css for the sass style. This is going to be the code for that. So if you see here with the new alias, now we are able to import styles like this. So for example, import, I don't know how is the name of this character, but it's like curved dash, but basically means that it's going to take these alias styles and is going to go to shared styles, a folder that we're going to create a little bit later. Then after this, we are going to create our file layout.tsx, So right now I'm going to show you just the UI or the page of the login. It's not going to have any functionality just yet, but at least will give you a little bit of the idea on how it's going to look. So right now here, I'm going to import the login component, which is not created yet. I'm going to include the layout styles. This is my layout component with head. This head is from Next. So this is to be able to change the page title and also include some metadata, meta tags if you want. And then we render here our login component. And I'm using Memo from React. So Memo is equivalent to do pure components on React, like with the class components, but now using hooks, Memo is a way to do that. So I'm passing Memo as this to have a few less renders. After this, we need to create the login as CSS. Let me copy this file. So those are the styles for the login. So I'm including the dependencies, which is going to include the mixins and other variables that we will have, like color variables, for example, this white or mineshaft, etc. So basically, this is a mixin that we have to affect mobile media query. So we do include mobile and then we affect that. SUSES, form, the logo, we will have actions, left, login, another mobile, mixin, and then register. So don't worry right now if you cannot copy like quickly the styles. All the code is in the repository. Normally I don't like to explain too much in detail the styles because otherwise the video is going to get very long. But yeah, all the styles are gonna be available on the repo. I'm not sure if this login, this should be here. Yeah, looks like I put it one folder outside, but it should be on login. Okay, and then we need to create our login, our login component. So it's gonna be login.tsx. And this one is gonna be the code. So from fogg-ui, we're going to include the dark button, primary button, and input. From fogg-utils, we are going to include the CX to concatenate class names. Then I'm going to include my logo that I'm going to create that later. I just include the image before. That is going to be on shared components layout main logo. If you see this add shared is the alias that we just created before. In here I'm including the login styles. Then my component login is gonna be basically login and then wrapper styles ready. We don't need this one. And then the form, the logo, the email. This is the input that we are going to use from fogg-ui. So basically is a way to include forms or inputs using that library. We can pass a class name here, type, name, placeholder, autocomplete off. This is our password. The actions we are going to have, one is login and the other is register. But for now it's just the HTML to be able to see the form that is going to work with the login. Okay, so after we do these components, we need to go to pages and we're going to create a new folder called users. And then inside we're going to create a file, the login page, so login tsx. Remember that the next pages normally are written on lowercase. It's like the standard they have. And then in this one, we are going to include our login layout from app users components login layout. And basically we are going to render that in our login page. Right now it doesn't have any functionality, so it's just to render the login form. Then we're going to go to the server file, and here I'm going to import the path function, and then we need to add a static route for our public folder. So basically we do app.use express.static and then path join your name and then one folder before /public, which is the public folder that we created. So in this way we are going to be able to see the image or to fetch the image in our local host. And then I'm going to add a specific route. If you see, before I was sending all the route to next, but now I'm going to be very specific on the page that I want to visit. In this case is /login. And then I'm going to render the page with next app.render. I need to send the request, the resolve, and then the page on next. So in this case is /users. This is the folder /login. And then you just send the query if you just pass some value there. So every time the user access to /login, we are going to actually render users login. So why I'm doing this on a separate route? This is because later, probably in the next video or in 2 videos more, I'm going to add a middleware to validate if a user is connected or not. If he's already connected, then and they try to access to the login again, we're going to redirect them instead of letting them in. So that's why change a little bit. Okay, so now let's go to share, and we are going to create a new folder called components, which are gonna be our share components. Then inside we are going to call this layouts. Inside layouts, I'm going to create my main layout, and then inside main I'm going to create my logo component, and the file that I'm going to create first is this CSS. So the styles, this is very simple. This one, close this part. So basically it's just text align center on the logo, and the image has 70 pixels on height. After this, we need to create the index.tsx on the logo to create that component. So basically in here, I'm going to use the link component from Next to add like a custom link. Later on next videos, I'm going to create our own link component that extends to this one and adds like a different behavior, because right now with this, when we use link directly, in reality we need to add the link like this. So I don't like that. Like, you need to add the link and then you need to add an anchor tag like this. But I don't like this, so probably that's why I'm going to change this link component to be a custom one later. So basically here we're importing our logo styles, and we are render a div with the logo class and then a link with the image /images/logo. Basically it's from the public /images/logo, because it's already public in our node server. Then on shared, we need to create a folder for styles, And then we're going to create our file underscore dependencies.scss. So in this one, I'm going to import mixins, bars, and global. And then also we need to create here the global.scss. And it's going to have these styles. I'm going to use this font family, Blink Max System Font. Otherwise, if the user doesn't have it, it's going to jump to Helvetica or sans serif. I'm going to removing some styles from the inputs and the text decoration on links. And then our mixins, let me copy this code here. Okay. So then we're going to create the file underscore mixins. That's SCSS. So this is the code we have for the breakpoint, max breakpoint, min breakpoint, the tablet, mobile, desktop, to add a placeholder, and that's it. Those are the mixins that we have for now. After this, we are going to add a file from variables, bars.scss. Those are variables that already have some colors that I'm going to use in this project. So don't worry, we have all this code in the repository, so you don't have to copy this manually. But basically all of these colors, named colors, I'm going to use in the project. So you will be able to copy this on the repository. And also we have the breakpoints. For tablet is 768 pixels, for mobile 640 pixels, and for desktop 1024 pixels. The font weights, we have font sizes. These fonts, we don't need it anymore. Yeah, so that's it. And finally, we need to go to our tsconfig, because remember that we create some alias. So now we need to include paths here. So basically we include the node paths, and then it's gonna be at app/asterisk is going to go to app/asterisk. At pages/asterisk is going to go to pages/asterisk and shared as well. So every time we add a new alias in here, we need to also add it into our paths in tsconfig. This is just app/ because remember that we are already on source. So basically that means this is going to be on source/app and whatever on the right. So that's the way how it works. So okay, so now that we do all of these changes, now let's run the code. npm run dev, see if everything works fine. So in order to test this, you have to go to localhost 3000, and then you will see your index page, but then you go to /login, and then you should see a page like this where you have your logo, and then you have these inputs from fogg-ui. Also you have a login button and register. Right now it's not doing anything, but we are creating our first a page in our Content API CMS. So that's it for this video. I don't want to make it any longer. Remember that if you have questions, you are welcome to join to our Slack community. The link is in the description. Also, if you like the video, please share it with your friends and subscribe to our new channel. So we're just started growing. So I hope you can help us to be more visible and getting more people to get all this knowledge. So thanks so much for your time, and see you in the next video. Bye.